Good morning, liveweatherblogs.com meteorologist Bob Acanfria with today's tropical update for Thursday, September 9th, 2010. We are watching Tropical Storm Igor today, way out in the eastern Atlantic, just south of the Cape Verde Islands. Movement pretty stationary overnight, actually has weakened a little bit. We have maximum sustained winds down to 40 miles an hour. Center is 13.8 north, 24.3 west for any of you trackers out there. So here's the official forecast track by the National Hurricane Center. Could even weaken down to a depression later today. It's getting a lot of easterly shear, but once it could get moving and budge away from that easterly shear, we should see steady and slow strengthening through the weekend. Official forecast by the National Hurricane Center does put this to a hurricane sometime later this weekend. So we're going to move little west-northwest, and then subtropical high is going to build a little stronger to its north, so we could even move more west toward during the weekend. And then early next week, it's going to start feeling the effects of a trough here in the western Atlantic, and then it's going to start moving more west-northwest again, and then maybe eventually just like this. And I'll show you some of those model runs and my thoughts in a minute here. Looking at the satellite view this morning, you could see here it is pretty much, this is the center of circulation right here. Didn't budge much overnight. Still a lot of that easterly shear, so all the convection is on its west side right now. Low pressure that was to its northeast, pretty much weakening. So this should be not a deterrent anymore for Igor. So once this kind of weakens, it gets absorbed into this circulation, and we could get this subtropical high to build a little stronger to its north, Igor will start moving. And if you look at the shear here, here's that easterly shear right now. It's about 20 knots. Once it starts moving west-northwest in this fashion, much lower shear in this area here. So Igor will eventually get moving and start developing in the next 24 to 48 hours. It's just going to take a little time here. And again, looking at the steering flow, here's that subtropical high to its north. This will get a little stronger and nudge a little farther west as we go through the weekend. So this will get Igor to start moving. And over the weekend, it should move at a pretty good pace. And then early next week, once it feels the effects of this trough out, it's not this trough, it's going to be basically this trough back out here. But once it feels the effects of that trough, it'll start slowing down a little bit, and then it'll start making its move up to the northwest and then eventually northward. Again, this pattern is pretty much set in stone lately, having a series of pretty strong troughs in the western Atlantic, pretty strong subtropical ridge out here. So this pattern does favor storms that do move off the Cape Verde Island in this fashion. The threat would be to Bermuda, the East Coast, and Canada, all in this area here. So it just depends when it wants to turn. Will it be a Danielle, which went east of Bermuda, or will it be an Earl that comes very close to the East Coast? My initial thoughts on this is going to be a Danielle. Everything is really setting up for this to definitely miss the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico, move north of the islands, and then move up to the northwest and then to the north, almost like Danielle again. Will it be a little west of Bermuda? Will it be a little east? You know that routine already, but this storm favors missing the East Coast at this time. This pattern also puts any storms that develop in the Caribbean, this pattern wants to move things into the Gulf here and then threaten Texas. So something to watch for as I'm going to show you possible development in the Caribbean sometime this weekend. And we'll have to watch this system progress this way and then possibly get into the Gulf and then unfortunately set its sights possibly on Texas. Again, long way off, but this kind of pattern, when we have these troughs here, we usually get a ridge to build right in this area as you see here, and then everything wants to funnel up this way that develops in the Caribbean. So again, unfortunately for Texas, that could be something to watch for down the road. Again, model runs on Igor, you could see pretty much what I'm showing you and what I talked about. West-northwest, then west. We have the GFDL right here and the HWRF. Really, they always do this in the beginning. They have that big poleward push. Got to discount that. This isn't going to hook that quickly. But eventually getting out here, you can see model consensus has it pretty much east of Bermuda. And we'll have to watch. You know how these shift. Could it shift a little towards Bermuda? Could it even shift a little west of Bermuda? Possibly, but I'm still thinking this is going to be in that Danielle area. Again, we'll have to see the initial track since Igor's stationary now. We'll have to see what the next 24 to 48 hours brings. You know, if Igor decides he's going to be stationary and move a little farther west in the next 24 to 48 hours, and of course this will shift this track a little south. So again, watch that carefully. But if you want to compare Danielle to Earl as far as tracks, I'm thinking this is going to be more of a Danielle. GFDL model, again, showing you that pretty much that quick push off to the north here. I don't see that at all. That's GFDL's thing in the beginning when systems develop. I see that all the time. This will move a little farther west. Canadian model, again, showing you, and we see we're going to have a couple systems out here. It's possible. Anyway, here's Igor, and you can see then he starts feeling the effects of that trough here in the western Atlantic. May have Julia behind him. A lot of the models, got almost all the models doing that as well. And then here's that system that could develop in the Caribbean here. And then you see the Canadian model has it pushing this way. I'll show you now the GFS model. This is valid for next Wednesday evening. You can see here is Igor, possible Julia, Carl here maybe, or Carl here. And you can see this is that system I'm going to be showing you in the Caribbean here. Could develop and then push westward. And then we have the GFS out. This is for next Friday, so this is about a week out. You can see moving Igor east of Danielle. Boy, Danielle, Earl, I got everything on the mind lately. East of Bermuda here. This could be Julia. This could be Carl maybe Carl here in the Western Caribbean. So there could be a lot to watch next week. We really could be watching multiple systems. Now comparing it to the Euro, basically the same kind of thing except timing differences. We have Igor here, possible Julia, Carl. Again, a system in the Caribbean that could move this way and then move west. The Euro's a little faster than the GFS with this Caribbean system. A little stronger area of high pressure up here. But as far as Igor goes, the Euro's a little slower. But again, it has that same effect as it wants to push it up towards the northwest. You see trough here moving off the east coast. And look at this system in the Bay of Campeche. So again, if something does develop in the Caribbean, it's going to push west, and then who knows down the road. Again, this is about a week out, so don't get so alarmed in the Gulf of Mexico just yet, or Texas, but just watch for that possibility that could happen. So let's look in the Caribbean here. What do we have? Well, here it is. Kind of a weak system right now. Starting to get itself together a little bit better this morning. Kind of a weak area of low pressure out here. These systems have to move away from South America in order for them to develop. So we got to get the system to move up into this area, which is possible. And once it could lift up to the northwest here and get into the Caribbean, it has a really good chance to develop. So probably be one of those slow developers. You know, let's watch for it over the weekend through early next week. But it's really in a favorable area for development if it could get out into the Caribbean here. And you're looking at the wind shear, you can see once it gets away from this easterly shear and gets a little north, this wind shear is going to be light here, and it's not going to get strong anytime soon. This stronger wind shear is going to kind of just stay up here, maybe even lift a little bit to the north. So very favorable environment. If an area of low pressure can really organize here, we definitely have to watch this system carefully. And like I showed you, this is going to move west, maybe west, northwest, west, but it's going to get into the western Caribbean eventually, and then all eyes will be on the again, looking at the pattern. Texas could be Mexico, Texas again. Unfortunately, could be that same way that Alex went and Hermine went. And again, finally, the bigger picture. Here's that system we're going to be watching near the Windward Islands. Again, slow developer, but something to watch over the weekend and through early next week. Here's poor Igor right now. I almost called him Earl again. Poor Igor. Not doing too well this morning, but he should get better organized. And we can see lurking out here. This could be maybe Julia by next week out here, as that comes off the African coast this weekend. So that's it for today. I will have another tropical update for you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day, and stay tuned to liveweatherblogs.com for all your latest weather information.